Full moon in Virgo. So we are so lucky that today is actually the full moon and it falls on a Saturday. So if you are not too busy doing anything else, then I would love to invite you to join me as we talk a little bit about how you can embrace the magic and the power of the lunar energy and incorporate the full moon into your everyday life and business. So, we're going to talk a little bit today, and you can discover how the full moon in Virgo is will influence your energetics over this weekend and over these next few days, and how you can take advantage of this opportunity to reflect, adjust, and release. So, to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be talking about and who I am, my name is Tracy Brown. I am a certified moonologer. I am a lunar business strategist, and I'm also the CEO and co founder of the Women Writing Intentionally Collective and CEO of Gemini Moon Press. And in 2022, I, along with some beautiful co-authors, wrote and published a book called Lunar Wisdom, Reconnecting with the Divine Feminine through Rituals, Spells, Magic, and the Phases of the Moon. And that book recently, this month, in January, actually, it's now February, was awarded one of the International Impact Book Awards, and it was a bestseller on Amazon. So I'm here to share with you a little bit about the full moon and the full moon in Virgo and how you can incorporate that into your everyday for your life and your business. So, why are we talking about the full moon? Well, just to give you a bit of context about the moon cycle in general, the new moon, which is when the sky is completely dark, you can't see anything at all, you can't see any moon, is when we would normally set our intentions and our goals for the month or the wider cycle, whether it is a 6-month or 12-month cycle ahead. And then as we get to the full moon, we are going through that waxing phase when the energy is building and we are taking that inspired divine action in pursuit of the intentions that we have set. And so now we're at that midpoint in the cycle, the full moon phase, when all of that energy has built up. It's coming to a climax, and we are now at that stage when it is time for us to reflect on our journey, see what has been working so far, what hasn't been working so far, and then make some adjustments as we move into the waning phase. So that waning phase is as that energy starts to diminish again and fall away, and we do all of that decluttering and that releasing work, that internal analytics, that behind the scenes stuff. We take that focused action rather than that inspired action as we then come into a new cycle. So the full moon is when we are bringing our energy cycle to a climax, and it gives us that opportunity to pause and reflect on how our journey is progressing so far. So if you did set some intentions at the new moon or even at the first quarter moon, are you starting to see the seeds that you planted at that new moon? Are they starting to sprout? It's time to ask yourself, what is working for you? What is it that needs adjusting as you move forward? The full moon is an amazing time to release and forgive all the things that no longer serve you and cut away those energetic cords. So in our business, this can look like when we are we've been taking action in our business. So during that waxing phase, you might have been going and doing things like interviews or podcasts or writing articles, putting them out into the world, going and meeting people. You feel like you've been ready to be front and center stage, out there doing the things. And now it's time to work out, okay, all of those things I was doing, what's working? What do I want to keep doing? How do I want to keep moving forward as we go through into this next phase? So sometimes this huge energetic climax that we are experiencing at the full moon can be a little bit like fireworks. It can either be an energetic climax in a good way, or it can feel like everything is all falling apart. So if you are in a stage where it feels like it's just all like overwhelming and all of that shadow work is coming up, it's really challenging you, don't be afraid to do that shadow work so that you can unwind and release any emotional baggage that you have been carrying, so that ultimately you can create space for gratitude and abundance. Means that it's okay to cut away the dead wood. It is okay to release the things that aren't working. Maybe some of the things that you were doing, and whether it was in your life or in your business, maybe some of the actions you were taking just haven't started to bring results, or they just aren't in alignment with the direction that you want to go. So it's okay to pivot. It is okay to change. It is okay to say, you know what, this really isn't for me. And let those things go as you continue to move forward, and take that focused action on the things that are working and doing more of the things that are working and less experimenting and just trying new things out. So, when you release from a place of love and gratitude and confidence and a genuine desire to step up and into your next level self, you amplify the intentional energy that you have already put out there into the universe. So it's time to ask yourself, what can I let go of? What obstacles can I remove from my path? And how can I move forward freely and easily? Okay, so that's a little bit about the full moon in and of itself. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the full moon in Virgo. So there are 12 houses of the zodiac, and each month the moon actually moves through all 12 signs in the space of a month. But at the full moon, we get over the course of the year, the moon will actually move through each of those signs at least once. Now, this year, we have a little bit of a special year, and we'll have 2 full moons in Capricorn in June and July. So we'll have 2 opportunities to release the energy in Capricorn. But we're not talking about Capricorn today. We're talking about Virgo. So the astrological houses touch on different areas of our lives and our businesses. So Virgo traditionally represents the 6th house of the zodiac. And the 6th house governs the everyday. It is our daily work. It is our routines. It is our health, including alternative health. It is our job situations and the way that we are of service to others. In our businesses, it also represents systems and processes. So, this is a really great time at the full moon to be assessing what is it within your business that maybe isn't working the way that you want it to when it comes to your systems and processes. Maybe there is no logical flow between the different parts of your office stack. Maybe there's something broken in your funnel, so to speak, because you're either bringing people in but you're not converting them, or they're getting lost somewhere in the middle. Maybe those systems and processes aren't quite as optimized as they need to be, or maybe you're recognizing that there are parts missing. So, this is a great opportunity to cut yourself some slack, to allow yourself to recognize and analyze these pieces, and then give yourself the grace and the space to let go any frustrations or emotional baggage you're carrying around that. As an earth sign, Virgo actually calls us to focus on grounding ourselves, taking the time to reconnect and lay the foundations or put down our roots that will support us along our journey. So you can really dive deep into this energy of Virgo where it's precise and analytical and practical and organized, which when it comes to that business side of things, our processes and our um, how everything comes together, it's a great time to really think about, okay, how can I improve these things, or what is missing, or whatever else. And again, when it comes to our health and our work and our job situation, the way that we're of service to others, really ground and reconnect with what's important to you and what it is that needs to be shifted and changed. So Virgo is a beautiful sign to work with when it comes to deciding what to keep and what needs to go because it's no longer of value to us. And it's an excellent time to ask yourself or to journal on a few things. So I've got a few journal prompts for you. So I'm going to just drop those depending on which platform you are watching and tuning in from. You may see these in the comments, and if you don't, just let me know, but you'll get them on here. So the journal prompt number 1: where have I been experiencing resistance in my daily life and routines? Have I been unrealistic in my expectations? Have you been really just pushing yourself too hard? Have you been hustling? Have you been struggling and procrastinating because you just aren't aligned with what you are meant to be doing? Really give yourself an opportunity to reflect on where these mismatches are in your life and routines and ask yourself why that's happening. Journal prompt number 2. Okay, this one's quite a juicy one. So, am I trying to micromanage the process rather than allowing myself to find my rhythm and flow? Have I been too much at the whim of the tide without giving myself any structure or framework for success? This is such a Virgo energetic thing here because Virgo energy can be really precise around wanting everything to be perfect. If you are micromanaging everything rather than allowing some of that intuition to lead, rather than doing what feels good for you as well as having those things in place, and we're too in our masculine energy, we can be out of alignment. But by the same token, maybe you're too much at the whim of your energy, too much in your feminine, and not giving yourself enough structural framework for success. It's really important here to think about that balance, between the masculine energy of, and I'm not talking gender here, I'm talking about archetypal energy. Again, systems and structures and all of the things that you need in place to be practical and do the things, as well as that feminine, intuitive, nurturing, growing, creative energy. We need to balance those two things. So where might you be out of alignment with those things? Okay, where have you been either holding on too much control or not actually having enough discipline? Journal prompt number 3. Have I been neglecting my health and well-being? Am I at risk of burning out? Okay. Sometimes when we are so busy doing all of the things, trying to tick everything off our to-do list, we forget to take time to slow down and replenish ourselves. We prioritize everybody else's needs over the things that we know that we really need to do for ourselves in order to keep our cup full so that we can serve properly. So, where have you perhaps not been prioritizing your own health and well-being? Okay, journal prompt number 4. Am I overly critical of myself or those around me? Again, Virgo energy is very precise and analytical, and sometimes can be a little bit anally retentive. This comes up in the micromanagement, but it can also come up in terms of being self-critical or being overly critical of others because we want things to be just so. We want things to be perfect. Where do you maybe need to release control? Allow others to just get on and do the job without trying to micromanage them, without trying to criticize what they're doing? Or where can you give yourself the grace and the space to just do what needs to be done without telling yourself it's not good enough, without telling yourself that it's just, not up to scratch, that it should be better. Give yourself a little bit of compassion. And journal prompt number 5. Do I feel like I have been of service in a wider context? So many of us have these big desires about the impact that we want to create in the world, the things that we want to do, the things that we want to create, the people that we want to help. And we get so bogged down under the weight of the everyday that we don't have time, and we don't have the energy left, or we don't have the money left because we're too busy trying to do all of the things to actually be able to make those contributions that we want. And those can be within in the community, or they can be within a more global context, seeing as these days we do live in a very global society. So, what is it that's important to you? What is it that you want to be doing in terms of being of service? Do you want to get involved in local community groups or organizations that relate to hobbies that you're a part of, or your family's interests, or business organizations that you're a part of? How do you want to give back? And if you are feeling like you are not doing that in a way that you really want to be showing up, it's a great opportunity to acknowledge these things. Cut yourself some slack, because we can't always do everything all at the same time. But take note of these things, so that then when it comes time to set those intentions again, in a couple of weeks when the new moon comes, you can remember that these are things that are really important to you, and look at how you want to bring that back into focus for you. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do, aside from spending some time journaling on each of these things, I really love to do a little bit of a full moon release and forgiveness ritual. Now, you can make this as woo as you like, or you can make it very simple. If you are, really big into candles and crystals and oracle cards and things like that, you can do amazing things where you light your candles, you put on some beautiful music, maybe some solfeggio frequencies, while you take some time to write what I'm going to tell you about, the forgiveness letter. And you can do things like, harness the energetics of certain crystals to help you through that forgiveness thing. If you don't happen to have any of those extra tools, really all you need for this is a pen and a piece of paper. What I like to do is I like to start out, don't write this in your journal, because I'm going to suggest something that would make that really inconvenient in a minute. But take the time to write down a letter starting, like, Dear Tracy, or your own name. I forgive who for what is the basic formula. Now, again, I really like to do this in a way where it becomes more like automatic writing and intuitive writing, but sometimes you need a place to start. So you could do that in a way where it's, if you're talking about health and well-being, I forgive myself for working, so many hours that I've been neglecting my sleep. Even though I have been making great strides in my business, I've only been sleeping 4.5 to 6 hours a night. And, that's influencing my health in these different ways. Or maybe you want to forgive your partner or your boss or your clients, whatever, for, being difficult or not understanding or not being supportive or whatever it is. And from here, it doesn't all have to just be about the Virgo thing. Once you get into the rhythm of writing, just allow yourself to write whatever comes up without judgment. Okay? Doesn't matter how silly it is. No one else has to read this. Okay? You just need to get the words out of your heart, out of your mind, out of your body, out of your soul. Pour them all out onto the page until there is nothing left to write. And then, once you are finished, I like to fold up my letter And then depending on where you're at, when I used to have a beautiful garden outside where I would go and I would take a candle with me, or you could light a fire if you've got a nice brazier or something, and burn the letter, or a fireplace at home. I've also done that as well in my fireplace, and get the letter and go over to the fireplace and light the piece of paper up. If you are in an apartment, like I am at the moment, I do this on my windowsill. So I grab my candle, I pop it out on the outside windowsill, not the inside windowsill, and you light the piece of paper, fold it up on fire safely, and pop it out there in a flame-proof dish or something. And as the letter burns, visualize everything that you have written in there, all of the emotions, all of the feelings, all of the things that you are trying to release and let go. Imagine those things transmuting, turning back into energy and being released back into the universe. As that paper turns to ash, so do those things release back into energy. Okay, really allow yourself to immerse into the elemental nature of this. Feel the heat of the flames. If you've been crying, taste the wetness of your tears, smell the smoke in the air, and then return the ashes to the earth. Okay, as you anchor those things in, as you release all of that stuff out into the universe, really think of that as clearing out that space to welcome in and anchor in something new that you do want. So after you've burnt your letter, go and put on your favorite playlist that really is upbeat and makes you feel happy and joyful, and have a dance party in the kitchen, or do a guided meditation, or go and sit and write down all of the affirmations or the goals that you want to achieve. Do something that then is going to shift your energy out of that forgiveness, out of that mode of releasing, and anchor it back into that happy, intention setting, positive, really like inspired mode of being. Okay, because we want to completely transform that energy. And so that's one of my favorite things to do. I've done this kind of ritual. I've done it in moon circles with some of my clients. I have done it on my own. I have done it with, with my friends, with my sister, with my partner. It can be as big or as little, as much fanfare or as little fanfare as you like. Okay, really take it and make it your own. So in line with that, I am just going to draw some oracle cards for the collective for a little bit of divine guidance for what it is that we all need to know, or what we may need to hear, or the guidance that we may need to receive. So I'm going to draw 3 cards for the collective. So in your mind, if you are following along, or if you're watching the replay, and if you are watching the replay, do hashtag replay and let me know so that I can come back and answer your questions along the way. But if you are watching, just think in your mind, are you feeling drawn to card number 1, or card number 2, or card number 3? Okay, again, there are no wrong answers here. Each card is just a representation of the energy or the message that you may need to receive, the guidance that you may need here on the full moon in Virgo. So we are drawing our cards today from the beautiful, glorious Moonology Messages Oracle by Yasmin Boland. And I absolutely adore the energy of this deck. So we are going to start with, card number 1. So if you are feeling like card number 1 is the card for you, your card, your message is Ring Around the Moon Protection. Okay, so I'll read that out in a moment. If you are drawn to card number 2, your card is Moon Circles Support. Okay. And if you are drawn to card number 3, your card is Talk to the Moon and Communicate. Beautiful. So some very clear messages here. Ring around the moon, protection, card number 1. So this card here says, let me grab this one. Okay. So this is one of the most auspicious cards in the deck because it's sending you a very powerful message. You are protected. In other words, whatever happens next, the Divine Mother, often symbolized by the moon, is looking after you. It may be that someone is actively working against you. Or perhaps at the moment, you simply have had a quite tough astrological influence playing in your life that you need to counteract. This card is a reminder that the Divine Mother takes care of her children and she'll take care of you now. It's as though there is an invisible force field or shield around you, making sure that you're safe as you move through a challenge or a difficult time. Whatever is happening now is most certainly happening for your highest good. So trust in that knowledge and go with the process as much as you can. Your current dilemma may even have something to do with your life purpose. You came here to achieve in this incarnation, and maybe your question doesn't feel that big, but it might be bigger than you realize. So just remember, you are safe. Your mantra is, I am safe and all is well. You are being divinely guided. You will be the winner and the divine is on your side. Okay, so if you are feeling called to card number 1, that is your card protection. Okay, everything is all going to work out for the best. If you are feeling called to card number 2, your card is Moon Circles Support. Okay, so this one says, let me just grab this for you. It says, when this card comes up, it's time to call in your people. Find the people who matter the most to you, to whom you also matter, and spend some time with them. There is wisdom to be found in gathering together with others, and right now you could use that wisdom. You just need 1 or 2 close friends or relatives. The first ones that spring to mind are probably the right ones. Let them know how you're feeling. Seek out their advice and support. Sometimes we put on such a brave face to the rest of the world that it has no clue that we're going through something. Remember the old saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. It's okay to be vulnerable with the people who care about you. Okay? Depending on when you draw this card, getting together with friends for a new moon or full moon circle could be just what the cosmos ordered. So today could be the perfect opportunity to call in some friends and do a bit of a full moon in Virgo release and forgiveness ritual together. So remember, you need to get someone on your side. Seek out those like-minded people. Remember that life goes in cycles and to be patient and take responsibility for your actions. Okay. And if card number 3 resonated for you, talk to the moon, communicate. Okay. So let us have a look at that one. So your card says, your outlook is positive, but you need to communicate with your higher self, with the moon, or with someone. Start with the idea of communicating with your higher self. This is the part of you connected to all life everywhere. Learning to connect with this part of you is easy to do. Simply sit quietly and ask your higher self what you need to know about your situation. Request answers. Close your eyes, breathe gently, and see what messages come to you. Have a pen and a piece of paper handy so that you can make notes and then you can return to your breathing. You can do this exercise under the moon. You can go out into the night and sit quietly, asking for answers about your situation. That's the esoteric part of this card. But it can also suggest that, as well as divining answers in a magical kind of way, you might also need to talk to someone in real life, either to the person involved in your situation or to someone else that can help you. So keep the channels of communication open. Be open to new ideas. Meditate more. Work on your intuition and pay attention to the signs that you're getting. Okay, so I hope that whichever card you felt called to resonated for you. If it did, please drop me a comment and let me know which card you felt called to and how it resonated for you. I would love to hear that. If you would like to find out a little bit more about how you can work with the magic of the moon, how you can work with the full moon in Virgo, because as I mentioned at the start, there are 12 astrological houses. What we have been talking about today is the general energy of the moon that everybody can access. But of course, each of us in our own personal birth chart has Virgo fall somewhere else in our chart. It may be that it aligns with the 6th house, but it may be that it falls somewhere else in your chart. Me personally, I'm an Aquarius rising. So Virgo falls in my 8th house, which very much governs change. It governs things like joint finances. It covers things like sex and the taboos. So if I was looking to harness the energy of Virgo in my personal life or my business, as well as accessing these general energies, I would be looking at how it's showing up for me, what kinds of changes I am being called to navigate at this time, or what releasing things around money drama, or releasing things maybe in my sex life that just haven't been working out, right? So each and every one of us has personal energetics that you can also harness in addition to the general energies of the moon. And if you would like to find out more about how you can do that, I do offer one-to-one moonology readings. They are 90 minutes long. We will go through your birth chart. We will talk about how the different zodiac signs influence the different parts of your particular chart and your life, and how you can then harness that energy throughout the year based on when the new moons and the full moons fall throughout the year. So it may be that if you wanted to launch a course, we could have a look at the times throughout the year that would be an amazing opportunity for you to do that. Or maybe you want to become a public speaker and you would like to look at different times that you could harness that energy of being amplifying your career, or the ways that people see you and the way that people perceive you, because you want to really build that personal brand. If you would like to find out how you can harness that energy in your life and in your business, please let me know. You can book a moonology reading. The address is just there in the subtitles at cal.com/Tracy Brown. They are 222 euros, which is approximately 250 US dollars, and or your equivalent currency. And we will spend 90 minutes together going through all of those different things, going through your chart, looking at the energetics, talking about what you have got coming up over the next 12 months and how you can energetically align with the energetics of the moon. And we will also wrap up with a 3-card oracle spread, a little bit like what we did today, but instead you'll have all 3 cards representing different parts of your journey, and looking for a little bit of that moon guidance. And one of the things I love most about doing these moonology readings is that there is always something new and something beautiful that comes up for people. I have clients that literally book these readings every single year. One of my clients has been booking readings with me for 4 years now. Every single year she does it just before or just around her birthday, and uses what we talk about with the energetics of the moon to plan her entire year. And it never ceases to amaze me just how magical it is when we do these oracle card readings, because somehow, and I couldn't plan it better if I tried, but somehow every time the oracle cards that we draw perfectly reflect everything that we have discussed during our reading. So it is a lot of fun. You get a lot of value out of it. It doesn't matter if you've had one before. Feel free to book a second reading with me. Let's do an update. Or if you are new to moonology, if you're new to working with the moon, please do feel free to reach out and let's have a look. Let's see how you could bring the magic and the energy of the moon into your everyday. In addition to that, I am so excited to be announcing that Gemini Moon Press and the Women Writing Intentionally Collective are releasing a new book in our Lunar series following the success of our incredible Lunar Wisdom book that came out in 2022. We are putting together a new collaborative book project called Lunar Magic, which is very much about weaving the magic of the moon into our everyday routines, rituals, and practices. So if you are a lunar practitioner, if you are a divine lunar lady who uses the moon in your life and in your business, we would love to hear from you. We are looking for contributing authors. And if you would like to find out a little bit more about how you can share your magic on a wider stage and get your magic out into the world, please do feel free, reach out and connect me. You can connect with me on whichever platform you are currently watching this on and ask me about how you could be contributing to our new Lunar Magic book. Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for tuning in for a little bit of the full moon in Virgo goodness. I hope you really enjoy going out and journaling on some of those prompts. I hope you enjoy writing your forgiveness letter and releasing and letting go of any of the things that are no longer serving you as you move forward. And I would love to hear how those, what came up for you while you were journaling, or how much it influenced your practice. So if you've got any comments, if you've got anything that you'd like to share, please do feel free to reach out to me or comment or message me directly and let me know. Okay, thanks for being here with me, guys. Absolutely love you. I will see you again next.